Hi, my name is John Olsheimer, and I'm a credit expert who contributes to creditcardinsider.com. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. Today's question is this, and it comes from Darren L. via YouTube. How can I get a perfect credit score? And in particular, Darren is looking to get those last 50 to 75 points. As you probably know, most credit scores range from 300 on the low end to 850 on the high end, with really anything above 750 putting you into that elite category. You're going to get whatever you want from pretty much any lender at the best deal or best terms that they're offering at that particular time. So I'm going to caution you to think twice about trying any kind of unproven or radical strategies to try to get those final 50 to 75 points, because you're already in a scenario where you're considered elite by lenders. And normally what happens when people have scores in the 775 and 800 range, and they start doing crazy things like closing accounts or opening new accounts or moving balances from one card to another, and they realize afterwards that they made a mistake because their scores have actually gone down, because while they may have helped one particular characteristic of the scoring system, they've also penalized themselves and another particular characteristic. And so the net is actually working against them. Most of the time, people who have really high scores but imperfect scores, meaning that they don't have an 850, don't have an 850 because of their age. And it's not their age in particular, not their date of birth or how old they are, it's how old their credit reports are. One of the components in both FICO's and Vantage Score's credit scoring systems looks at some metrics regarding the age of the information on your credit report. And there's two ways that it's done. One, the oldest account on the credit report, and that really sets the date of birth of your credit file. And then number two is the average age of the different accounts that are on the report. You're going to want to have an older report because you're going to earn more points in that category. And that category generally runs in the 15% range, meaning that 15% of the points in your score, which by the way is that last 50 to 75 that you're seeking, those are the points that are driven out of that category. So if you're a younger person, 25, 30 years old, and you just happen to have a younger credit report as a result, you're not going to max out that particular category, and that's why you're not going to have those perfect scores. Generally speaking, people who have scores in the really high 800 range, 840, 850, are people who are older, not necessarily because of their age, but because they've had credit for so long that the oldest account on their credit report might be decades old, and the average age of all the different accounts on their credit reports may actually equal 20 or 30 years, and that's when they're earning that last little bit of points that gets them into that rarefied air of 840 and 850. So again, it's great to strive for perfection on credit scores. However, it's really not necessary, because you're not going to get anything better from a lender at 850 than you would get at 800 and even down to 775. Most of the published interest rates for mortgages and auto loans max out, meaning you get the best deal possible already in the 750 to 760 range. So again, go for it, but be very, very careful not to do something silly. And in the next YouTube video you want me to do is how to recover from making a mistake trying to actually improve your credit score. If you have any other questions pertaining to credit or financial topics, please submit them at creditcardinsider.com or in the comments section below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.